Good morning, everyone. At this time, the court will call cause number 67432 in the interest of the Harris Price children here in the 499th Judicial District Court of San Gabriel County, Texas. These proceedings are being recorded this morning pursuant to the Texas Family Code. Thank you for coming back to be with us again this morning, everyone. We do have present with us here today representing the department our County Attorney, Mr. Britton. Our caseworker, Ms. Greenberg, is present with us here today with her supervisor, Ms. Dawson. We do have our CASA supervisor, Ms. Ott, here, and we now have our volunteer, Ms. Jackson, with us. The court has previously appointed Ms. Duke to represent the children as their attorney. She is present with us here today. The mother, Ms. Price, is here with her attorney, Ms. Langsley. We have the father, Mr. Price, here with his attorney, Mr. Childress. We also have a paternal grandmother, Ms. Dashi, back with us again today as well. I believe that's everyone here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have been identified, please raise your right hands then to be sworn at this time. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
We are here today for our status hearing in this particular case. Ms. Price, Mr. Price, the state of Texas requires that I tell you that we need to have a final order entered in this case by the end of a 12-month period. The state only gives us 1 year to resolve the matters that are before this court today. If those matters have not been resolved at the end of that 1-year period, your parental rights are subject to being restricted or terminated. Do you understand that warning that I've given to you, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Do you understand that warning, sir?
Yes, sir.
The end of that 1-year period is November 31st of this year. We're here for our status hearing, and to begin with this morning, we will have a report from the caseworker as to what's been occurring in the case at this time. Ms. Greenberg, you can speak freely.
Well, Your Honor, as it was court ordered last time, we have completed a home study on both the Aunt Carol for the placement of Ben, as well as Father Ernie Price and Anita Dashi, paternal grandmother, for the placement of Robert. Both of those home studies came back approved. The criminal background checks for Mr. Price and Ms. Dashi, as well as Ms. Carroll, all have been cleared and we're good to go. There were some issues on some recommendations on Mr. Price's home study. It recommended parenting classes, which the department has set him up with. And he was also given a medical report, a medical evaluation from the Army, since he is military, for his PTSD diagnosis, and it recommended every other week quarterly counseling sessions. So he's in the process of getting with his commanding officer about setting those up through the military. Contact with Ms. Price, however, has been kind of hit and miss. We have been having difficulties getting a hold of Ms. Price. She's been uncooperative in services. Progress in services has been pretty limited on behalf of Ms. Price at this point.
So you've prepared service plans for all the parents in the case.
We have, Your Honor.
With regards to the father of the baby, have we ever determined who that person is?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
And so have you begun a paternity registry search of that child?
Both that and a diligent search is initiated at the investigation, and both came back returned with unknown, no hits.
All right. And so you're prepared then, Mr. Britton, to ask for an attorney to be appointed for that unknown father at this time?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you feel like the paternity registry has been done appropriately, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. With regards to the child, Robert, what is your recommendation for placement at this time then, Ms. Greenberg?
We recommend a 6-month monitored return, since it is his biological father.
All right. And so you're recommending that that begin today, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And with regards to placement of Ben, what is your recommendation?
That he continues with his Aunt Carol. He appears to be doing well there.
Okay. Thank you then. At this time, we're going to go ahead and hear from our CASA advocate, Ms. Jackson. We appreciate your taking this case.
I was very excited to get this case, but I know it's going to be very difficult when it involves 3 children, very different ages and apparently in very different placements. It will require a lot of work. It's going to require a lot of research. But I'll start my list of things that I have to do. I'm on my way to see Ben at his school. I'm a little nervous about how to connect with a 14-year-old boy. I think someone told me that he likes to draw. Next time I'll get an art tablet and some supplies and bring to him. And I know he's worried about his dog. And I need to go by the neighbor and see the dog so that I can assure him that the dog is being well cared for. Hey, Ben. How are you doing?
Okay,
How was school today?
it's all right.
Are you and Robert doing okay where you are?
I don't get to see him that much, but
What about your asthma?
having a bit of trouble breathing, but
Have you gotten any medication?
not that much, no.
Oh, I'm a volunteer. I'm called CASA, and that stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. And the judges ask us to, you're my only child, you and your brother and your sister, and they ask us to keep a watch on you and make sure that the home you're in is safe and that your medicine's up to date, and you can tell me anything you want me to convey to the judge. I'll be there for you all the time. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I just visited Ben at his school, and we spoke about his asthma problems. He was wheezing a little bit. Your Honor, I have visited the children when Robert and Ben were in the shelter, and I've also visited with them with Ben in Aunt Carol's house, and with Robert in his father's house and his grandmother's house. I have been to the foster home where Rose resides, and I've been to the school where both of the boys go. Because Aunt Carol lives in a different town, Ben had to change schools, and I visited with his teacher. He's adjusting. They are recommending some after-school tutoring for him. They think he's really just behind because of the inconsistent attendance that he had when he lived at home. But the baby has been examined by ECI, and they've recommended some occupational therapy, which I would agree with.
All right, do you have anything else to report as far as what you've done? In a moment, we'll hear about what your recommendations are.
Well, I have spoken with Mom once, but as Teresa said, she's been very hard to reach. Hi, Kathy. My name is Norma Jackson, and I'm a court-appointed special advocate for your children, Ben, Robert, and Rose. I just wanted to touch base with you, introduce myself, and let you know that we have a doctor's appointment for Rose. My recommendation would be Ben really wants to see more of his brother and his mother. I would recommend additional visits for them and a psychological evaluation for Ben. If we could have that, I think would be very helpful.
All right. Beyond that recommendation, do you have other recommendations at this time?
I would really like for the court to ask his mom to complete her services.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, unless there's anything further at this time, the court is going to continue the department as a temporary managing conservator for all three children. And at this time, I am going to order a monitored return of the child, Robert Price, to his father's home. We have approved the service plans, and I believe we've announced all the required services that we're requiring for the department to provide for the children previously. So those will be written in the orders and approved by the court at this time. Specifically, the court will order a psychological evaluation of the child, Ben, to be performed within 21 days of today's date. Mr. Price, you are going to have to participate in the services as we've addressed earlier, and I know you're going to be working that out with your commanders and your supervisors. And so it's important for you to make sure that you follow through with those. We'll get you a copy of the order so you can provide that to those persons who are in charge of you, and they can facilitate that as well. Yes, all right, so we appreciate you, Grandma, and what you've done to help us out. And so this is a big step for y'all, and I congratulate you, and I wish you the best of luck with Robert. So keep up the good work there. We need to go ahead and appoint an attorney then to represent the unknown father for the baby Rose, and I'll do that by the written order here this afternoon before we recess. All right, and finally, Ms. Price, we've approved your service plan here today. Now, you heard what I said earlier about the time that we have. The state of Texas only gives us 1 year to get this case resolved, and of course, we're already over 2 months into that particular time frame. So the clock is ticking, and you look better, you look like you're feeling a little bit better, but we need to have some action behind your appearance. And so actions speak louder than words in this particular court. You've got a lot of things you need to get working on, and as I've told you before, you have a good attorney to represent you to help you with that. You have a good caseworker to help you with that. Everyone in this courtroom is wanting you to be successful, and we want to have these children reunited, but it's going to take hard work and not just words on your part. I want you to make sure that you are compliant with your drug testing and you have that drug and alcohol assessment done. And it's very important that you get your psychological set and done. We talked about that at the first hearing. It still hasn't been done. That's critical information that we need to have. And until we get that information, clock is ticking, and it's going to be difficult for us to make any progress whatsoever until you get these things done. Do you understand what I'm talking about, ma'am?
Yeah, I know.
Are you able to communicate with your attorney effectively?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's there to help you out. You have your caseworker there to help you. If you have any problems, you have the support that you need, but it's going to be up to you to get done what you need to get done. Do you understand what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a little bitty baby here with Rose, especially little kids, and she's waiting for her mom to get done what she needs to get done. These kids want to come home, they want to be together, they want to be with you. That's what the policy is of this court. That's what the policy is of the state of Texas. That's what everyone sitting in this audience wants. We want you to be successful, but it is going to have to be you making the efforts and you doing what it is that you need to get done before we can accomplish that. It's pretty simple. If you get these things done, you have a good shot of reunifying with your family. If you're continuing to use illegal drugs and be non-compliant, you don't have much of a chance at all. So you hold all the cards in your hand at this time. Do you understand that? Okay. We wish you the best of luck. Congratulations again. We wish you good luck with Robert in that placement. Unless there's anything else, ladies and gentlemen, at this time the court will recess.
Kathy, can I talk to you for just a minute? I just want you to understand that I'm not CPS. I'm a volunteer. I am sworn to by the judge to do what is in the best interest of your children. But that doesn't mean that I think they should stay away from you. You're their parent. It's usually best interest for a child to be with their parent. What I can tell you is that I've seen a lot of this over the last 10 years, and you haven't lost your children. You have every opportunity to get them back, and I can tell you how to do that. First of all, complete the things that the judge has asked you to do. Now, that'll be a psychological evaluation and the drug assessment, and then they make recommendations on those two things. Parenting classes also. If you need transportation for this, I can help you with that. I will be seeing your children regularly. Several times a week I will see all of your children, and I can bring you pictures. I can report to you how they're doing. I've already checked on Ben's dog to see how he's doing. This is really doable, but it's going to take a lot of effort from you. Can you do that?
Yes.
Great, that's good.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stewart.
I'm Norma Jackson. I'm a court-appointed special advocate for Rose.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Norma.
to meet you.
And you must be Kathy?
Kathy
Dr. Stewart.
Price and her mom.
Nice to meet you. And I know you, Rose. Hey. Really, what I want to do right now, Kathy, is ask you some questions about, you know, what was going on for you at the time that Rose was conceived and during your pregnancy with Rose, and what her birth was like and stuff like that, if you don't mind.
That's mine.
How much alcohol did you drink and or drugs did you use during the pregnancy?
Like a normal amount, like a normal person would. I mean, like I'd get home from work and I'd have a drink.
A drink?
Just a drink.
What kind of alcohol did you drink?
I would drink a lot of. I would have a glass, a small bit of vodka
Uh-huh.
because it's clean. But I'm going to tell you, I didn't even know that I was pregnant
You didn't.
until way into it. And then felt really bad.
Dr. Stewart, do you think it would be appropriate at this time to have her evaluated by ECI and maybe some therapies? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, well, I think definitely the evaluation. The findings on my exam and what I'm hearing from Kathy would indicate that an evaluation is necessary. And then whether therapy would be indicated after that evaluation would kind of depend on the nature of the evaluation, but I suspect that that's the direction we'd go. Yeah.
Dr. Stewart, we really appreciate your time. Kathy, do you remember my role as a CASA? Do you know what it is that I do? CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. I'm an advocate for your children, and they're my primary interest. I report to the judge not only about them, though, but about you.
Report all good things?
Well, it depends. It depends on you. Do you know why your children were removed?
Because I was trying to feed my baby.
You left your children overnight and you didn't call anybody. Ben was so
That
upset.
was not my fault. I was supposed to be gone for 10 minutes, okay? And then I get picked up by some dumbass cop, and then I'm stuck all night. And have you ever been arrested? Do you know how much trouble it is? Do you know how confusing it is? You don't know what's going on, and I'm exhausted. I went to sleep. And they
No.
wouldn't even listen to me when I said I want to make a phone call. It's not my fault.
Well, we can't help what happened in the past. So we need to go forward. Did you get the service plan at the hearing? It
Are you
was a
kidding
document
me?
that you had to sign, that you understood what it
Do you
said.
know how much paperwork I got from that hearing?
Well, this one had a list of things that Child Protective Services and the judge want you to do. No?
Probably got it.
Well, one of the things you need to do is make an appointment for a psychological evaluation. There are a number of other things. I can help you with
Judge
that.
needs a psychological evaluation.
Kathy, it's something that the court requires. It's something that you need to do for your children.
I have to go to a psychiatrist to get my children back.
That's one of the things that you need to do. That's always required. It's not just you. They're not picking on you. It's always required by CPS.
So if someone goes out to get formula and gets arrested because of a simple mistake, then they have to go to a psychologist in order to get their kids back.
That's not all there is to it. There's some other things that you're going to have to do.
Yeah. All right, what do I need to do?
Okay. You need to make these appointments to do those are called services. And you need to follow through with that and show the court that you're serious about getting yourself together. Do you understand?
Like what? What's on
Well,
the service plan? What did I miss?
To
Go to a psychiatrist. Got it.
You need a drug assessment. It wouldn't hurt if you would start going to AA. You know, you came today. I really appreciate you showing up today. That shows that that's an interest. That's a positive. So. Kathy, your attitude's going to be really important in doing this. You think you could make some of those appointments and try to follow through with it? I know it sounds hard. I can't even imagine.
Okay.
Good.
Let's
good.
make some appointments.
That'd be great. That's the first step. Well, it was a very interesting day. I met Kathy at the doctor's office for Rose. The doctor did not exactly diagnose Rose with fetal alcohol syndrome, but we assume, we're pretty sure that Kathy probably was drinking when she was pregnant, and the baby is severely delayed developmentally. ECI is going to follow up on that. But I had coffee with Kathy after the appointment, and She was friendly. She wasn't, well, I don't want to say friendly, but she wasn't off the wall like I expected. But mainly I filled her in on how her children are doing, and I urged her to visit more and call the boys more. She doesn't really seem to get it. She doesn't understand the severeness of what she's done and the position that she's put all of the family in.
Well, thank you all for being here today. I want to welcome you to this family group conference. My name's Jennifer Rock, and my job with CPS is to do planning meetings such as this one. What a family group conference is where parents and relatives and the children and other support people come together along with CPS and CASA and the attorneys involved in the legal case. What we want to do here is talk about the case and make plans for where are we going and how are we going to get there. Some of the things we talk about in a family group conference are hopes and dreams, and that's hopes and dreams for the children and for the family. We also talk about strengths, the positives, what's working well, and how can we build on that to move forward. And we also talk about concerns, those problem areas that are in the way of the hopes and dreams that you have as a family. What's important here is that all family members and relatives have an opportunity to share, because this is your family and you know your family best and how we can best work together. So it's very important that you're here and that you join in with us and participate. So for that, I'm really glad that you all came forward. We'll now go around and introduce ourselves. And as you do, if you'd say how you're related to this case, so that way everybody can get to know everybody. Do you want to start?
I'm Robert.
I'm Ernie Price, Robert's father.
I'm Ben.
I'm Kathy Price. I'm the mom.
Hi, I'm Carol Hill, and I'm Robert, Ben, and Rose's aunt.
I'm Miss J, Ben's art teacher.
I'm Lori Duke. I'm the attorney for Ben, Robert, and Rose.
I'm Norma Jackson. I'm CASA volunteer for the children.
Barbie Ott, CASA volunteer supervisor.
I'm Cassidy Dossett, the CPS supervisor.
I'm Teresa Greenberg. I'm the CPS conservatorship caseworker who will be working with the family.
Well, thank you all for coming and for being here. We've passed around a paper, and that's the agreement to participate, and I'm going to ask that everybody sign in on that. What you're agreeing to is that you'll, the information that we talk about here today, that you'll keep that private and confidential, because we're talking about a lot of important information, not just for the adults involved, but for the children involved. And after we fill out that, we do have some ground rules for the meeting. Some of our ground rules are that we just all talk one at a time. We know you're here and you have important information to share. We want to make sure that we don't interrupt anybody and that everybody gets to talk about what they want. Things here get emotional and get sensitive, so if you need a timeout, that's okay. So if you have any other ground rules that you think would best support you and your family, we can add more ground rules to the list. Other than that, we'll go ahead and get started. We will be keeping notes during our meeting, and everybody will get a copy of those notes at the end of our meeting. Are we ready to get started?